and welcome to Let's Grow Speaks. Today is Friday, September 28th, and this is episode 254. It's the 27th. But it is September. I actually got that right this time. I'm Amy Beth, also known as the Fat Squirrel on Ravelry and the Fat SQRRL on Instagram. I'm your hostess, okay? This week's episode will contain shenanigans. It will contain spinning and knitting. And at the end, I will do a shameless, slightly shamed showing of what I purchased at the Wool Gathering this year, which is a festival that's held in, that's Gus, sorry, just knocked the tripod. It's held in Yellow Springs, Ohio. So I will show my haul at the end, even though that's always weird, but there was some really cool stuff and I wanted to say yay for those people. So I'll put that at the end though. Stuff you need to know about. I have no good dates for you at this point. I'm waiting for kind of a big thing to line up scheduling wise, and then I will be able to give you more updates on when Christmassy winter bags will start to be available. So I will probably be closing Kersey bags pretty soon. A lot of people have asked if I'm going to do the other bags that I did earlier in the year. I might, if I get a chance, try to do a run of those right at the beginning of December, so that if you want them for gifts or just a gift for yourself, I could do that. But so I apologize, I don't have good firm dates for you. But as soon as I have them, I will put them on fatsquirrelfibers.com, so you can find that information there. As soon as I know when the updates are, even if I don't have a great picture of bags or anything yet, I'll still put the dates there so that you kind of know what's going on. And I apologize for that. Other administrative stuff. Next episode will be the first episode of the fourth quarter. How is that even possible? So I will announce Patreon, PayPal, Ko-Fi, all those good people who support the podcast. I'll be announcing prizes on that episode if I get my stuff together. And also I will be donating. I will also be giving prizes for those of the folks who have sent me in knitted garments, knitted accessories for the asylum seekers in Portland, Oregon. Well, Portland, Maine. Sorry, I'm distracted by Gus potentially eating everything. I have many things that Gus would really like to eat very close to me, and so I'm trying not to let him do so, but it's challenging. Every day we get to play a good round of what was that before Gus chewed it up. Anyway, if you sent me accessories for the asylum seekers of Maine, then I'm going to draw prizes for that on that episode as well. Now, if you can't get your stuff in the mail to me by October 1st, no worries, because Clara Parks posted an address for, it's not the exact same organization, but they're doing the same kind of work. And she posted that address on her Instagram account, so you can find it there. And you can send in stuff if you can't get it into the mail by October 1st. Because if you're sending them to me, I ask that they come by October 1st just so I can get them all packaged up and sent off in one massive yarny shipment. By the way, it's going to be so fun. I'm not opening things because I'm afraid that they'll get gussified. But I'm also just afraid I'll lose track of things. So I have not opened everything yet. So it's all still packaged up, but I will do a picture definitely at the end when I get everything ready to send off. So that's the administrative. Now we're up for shenanigans. Shenanigans. I was trying to think if we actually had shenanigans before the Wool Gathering. I don't think we did. I think we had a super low-key weekend. I did do some house shenanigans where I did some reorganization. I have reconfigured my workspace a little bit, so that's always exciting. Maybe I'll try. I know that people lots of times ask for tours of my yarn room. Or my craft room. And I kind of do have a craft room. It's the front room. We have a 4-square craftsman kind of home. And so that front room, which would be maybe a formal sitting room or something like that, is where I work. So it has the majority of work stuff. It has shipping supplies and printers and irons and in progress bags, fabric that's about to be cut. I have extra storage upstairs in the eaves of our house for fabric that maybe I didn't get to as soon as I purchased it. Definitely not. That's not a thing. And yarn in like Tupperware containers. And then this thing here. But it's also like where we have our coat rack and our shoes. But so maybe I'll do that one day. But I have not, I'm not doing it soon, but part of it is because I'm reorganizing everything. So everything's a little bit crazy here. But that's par for usual. But then last weekend we went to a wool gathering, which I'm not sure which number it is, but they've been having it for a very long time. Well, for quite a long time. And I have been to, I think, twice in the past. Once when Tova was little, and then maybe 4 or 5 years ago. It was hard for me to justify going when I was also going to Rhinebeck in the fall. Just personally, it's just a teensy bit over a couple hours drive. And again, Rhinebeck is a big trip in terms of like financial investment, time investment, all that stuff. But I'm not making that trip this year. So Needles Up is still happening. All those awesome people are going to still be at Needles Up, and there will be a different bag maker. Hooray! But I will not be at New York Sheep and Wool this year. And that was just for life reasons. Grandparents are aging, family stuff, etc., etc. It's kind of hard on me to do those big trips. I'm just like not mentally I don't know. It's just quite exhausting for me. Mentally, not physically, but and it's also really hard for me to get that much product together, which is amazing. It's amazing that y'all come out and purchase bags, which is awesome. But since I make all of the bags myself and I have other commitments as well, it's a big thing to get enough bags to take there. So I just wanted to kind of give myself a little bit of a break this year, and I'm really glad I did. It's actually worked out so well. But because of that, I was also able to justify going to Young's for the wool gathering. And so Young's Dairy, I think it's Young's Dairy. They have Jersey cows, by the way. Hi, Jersey cows. So in heart with all the Jersey cows. But they're a year-round establishment. They have a larger restaurant, which I understand is more of a like traditional restaurant, and then they have a smaller kind of like a Creamy Whip extra. Like they have all of their own ice creams and everything associated with that, but then they also have some like Fryolator. They don't just have Fryolator foods, but it's kind of that thing. And so they're year-round. They have mini golf, and they have like batting cages, and they have like a big slide that you ride down on the burlap sack, and they do like a pumpkin patch and things like that as well. So they're there all year, but 1 weekend a year they do the wool gathering. And it's a really nice show, especially if you're just a few hours away, if you're in Ohio, Indiana, maybe even northern Kentucky. It's only going to be a few hours for you, so it's a really nice show. And the vendors are awesome, and they have a really good variety of vendors. So if you're going with like family where maybe not everybody is a wool person, they had a pretty big like beads and findings kind of booth. They had like purse handle booth, like all leather handles and straps and things like that. They had like a couple of people who either were selling finished rug hooking things in terms of like, they weren't just necessarily rugs, but like hangings or like incorporated into a piece of furniture and things like that. And then they also had like the wool fabric for doing the fabric rug hooking. They had several basket people. Tuft Woolen was there with their soaps, and other people had soaps as well. The Society for Creative Anachronism, did I say that right, is there, and they have been there every year doing stuff. So there's, and I'm sure there's other things I'm just not remembering off the top of my head. So there's a pretty good variety of things, even if you're not necessarily a knitter or interested in like wool stuff. So Toph and I went out, we met my parents there, and we just had a nice morning of it. And then of course, ice cream. They have cinnamon ice cream, which I really enjoy. Now this year was a little bit more, I don't know if they're using cinnamon sugar, which makes sense because like if you tried to just incorporate cinnamon into ice cream, it would probably clump. So maybe they're using sugar to try to help break it up. But it was a little bit less smooth than I recall, but it was still quite delicious. And Tova got some sort of peanut butter chocolate thing, which was really amazing. And then I had every intention of like going into Yellow Springs, because Yellow Springs is a really cute town. Antioch College, I don't even know if Antioch College still exists anymore. It like didn't exist and then it did exist. I'm not sure. And of course I should use this time to look that up, right? But anyway, Antioch College was like a super hippie liberal arts college. It says it's still there. Founded in 1850. But anyway, and so the town is like a college town. Even if the college isn't there anymore, it still has that very college-y vibe. And so anyway, I have every intention of going into town and eating dinner or like late lunch, dinner afterwards. But the ice cream was so much that I was really like, okay, I think I just ate ice cream for lunch because I'm done. But anyway, we really enjoyed ourselves. Again, I'll show you what I purchased there at the end. But then on the way home, if you've ever driven between Indianapolis and Dayton, or parts east or west, if you've ever driven on the I-70 between Indianapolis and Dayton, there is something called the Warm Glow Candle Company. It's got a giant candle outside. Like 3 stories, I'm guessing-ish. Candle. I kid you not. And so every time I drive by, I'm like, I should really go see what that is. Because part of me was thinking it was more like because the candles are made in Indiana, but they are not, I don't believe they are made there unless there's like some sort of secret underground candle factory. But I thought it might have like a factory feel to it. It doesn't actually. So we went there for the first time. And Tova was pretty excited about it. She's super into candles and like the whole like warmy, cozy thing. So we went there and it was insane. I mean, it was a huge store and it's actually like a complex. We didn't even go into the other things because between going through the wool gathering and then going to this crazy store, I was so retail. I get very easily overstimulated in retail situations and start to make really poor decisions. It's true. I really need a handler at that point, and my daughter is not that. She is the opposite of a handler. She like just is like, ooh, let's make crazy decisions even more exciting. Let's make mom do weird stuff. I just get so, I think it's just overstimulation. Probably because I really like control my stimulation on a daily basis. It's easy for me to get very overwhelmed, especially in environments that are designed to do that to you. So anyway, so there was the actual candle place, and then there was random peacocks. That was weird. Like there was like a guinea fowl or a peafowl enclosure. And they were like white peacocks. I don't even know what's happening. And then there was like maybe an Amish pole barn situation. I don't even know, but I'm assuming that's what's going on over there. And then on one side there was like a cafe or coffee shop kind of thing. And then there was also like an artisan's shop. I don't know if that's, I'm assuming it's like a consignment, I'm assuming, or like some sort of like system like that, assuming like from what I understood. I could be wrong. I probably am. And then there were like a bajillion pumpkins because apparently, as we later found out, they're having this huge fall festival this weekend. So anyway, but this store was bonkers. I was just assuming like it was going to be candles and maybe like candle holders and accessories. It was like home, like primitives, you know what I mean? Like that, but so much. It was so overwhelming. Especially when you don't usually go into stores like that, because we don't. I mean, not that I'm anti those, I just don't have any reason to go into stores like that. And there was like, it was just insane. There was like 9 million strands of like those little wired berries, the little teensy tiny ones, like not like that look like actual berries, but they're just like little blips of color, but they're all like wired and all wired together to make garlands and things. I mean, it was insane. Like there was so much stuff. I got very overwhelmed and made some weird purchases. But I do want to show you these things because some of you might know what they are, and I am very curious. So, like, part of this, like, whole aesthetic is that you buy things like trays or galvanized troughs. By the way, they totally have a candle that, I am not kidding you, is about this big around and, like, that tall. And if I would have liked the smell of the one that I liked, I probably would have bought it because it was just insane. Oh my gosh, thank God that one did not smell good because I have a really like intense thing for pine scented candles. It's intense. Like I love a pine scented candle. And it's interesting because I did find out when I was reading that, oh my gosh, what was that book called? It was about the nature and the outdoors and like the health benefits of being outside. And one of the big things is the smell of pine and other evergreens. There's actually like there's a chemical reaction that happens in your brain that does create joy. And I'm like, I flipping knew that. But anyway, I'm probably just, I mean, I totally just bastardized that completely, but it's something like that. Anyway. But like they had it displayed, like this giant candle in this tray that was like all like weird oxidized metal with like these deer heads on it. Like just sculptural, not like, you know. But like I was like this big tray that was metal and it had like all this pine and this giant candle looked very pagan. I was just like, that's amazing. Luckily the candle stunk. Otherwise we would own that entire ensemble. But no, it's just like the whole store was like that. It was just like an assault. There was like 9 million different like kinds of like, it wasn't just Christmas. Like they had the majority of the store was set up for the season that we are currently entering, which would be fall. But they did have a very like large Christmas, winter, not Christmas, just winter section that was just like a million sprigs of like different combinations of pine and pine cones. Like at one point there were like cotton bowls, what do they call them? You know, the cotton in the plant it grows in, like with glitter on them. And I was like, I would totally buy that if I had anywhere to put it, or, you know, there weren't a million other things here to buy. Like I was just like, that just make no sense. Things that I would never be like, oh yes, that's, now in the moment, this is like all insane and wonderful. And then I left and I was just like, whoa, that was way too much. But it was so crazy. And there's actually like a little cafe inside the candle store. And I'm not kidding you, they had homemade looking pie, which was very tempting. But luckily I was still digesting that ice cream from an hour earlier. The pie looked good though, yeah. Legit. Anyways. Oh, so I wanted to show you these one thing. These like weird, again, I bought dried things to put in a deer tray. What is wrong with me? That's okay. Sometimes we make mistakes. I mean, I don't really regret this. I will be completely honest with you. What if Tova tied it in like a square knot? What is she, crazy? I'm not gonna lie to you. Even though it was ridiculous, and I'm sure I'll regret the decision to have this thing when I have to store it over the summer, but right now I'm really happy about it because it has like pumpkins and these weird dried things in it, which are probably highly toxic. Gus, what are these things? I had to have them. They're the color I love. And what are they? They do rattle. So there's some sort of pod thing. But aren't they so cool? Right? I still have more because I didn't get the 75-pound candle to put in my giant candle tray. Clearly a mistake on my part. I couldn't resist this bag of things. Oh my gosh, maybe like there's people in the 80s that had just like vases of glass beads. They weren't beads. What were they? You know, those flat glass disky things that were decorative at the, just that. The worst. I couldn't help it. They were so cool. They actually smell good. That's weird. They're not like scented. They just smell good. Because I'm sure that yellow is not natural. I'm sure they've been dyed. But how cool are they? So like, what are these? They're so cool. Anyway, I was very excited. So sorry, I did show you some haul early. Sorry. I couldn't help it. That was so fun. So I bought dry things to put in a thing to put a... I'm out of control. Y'all, you should see my house. It is not home deck. Like, my baseboards they've never been cleaned. No, they have. But if you were a person who looked at people's baseboards, you would not think that mine had ever been cleaned, because yours would be clean and mine wouldn't. So you'd be like, what kind of animal is this woman? I'm an animal with lots of crafts to do, and I'm quite content about it. But I'm just saying all that to say I'm not like a home decky kind of person. I don't even know if that's the name of it, but I can't stop. My white pumpkin. What's up with me? I bought a white pumpkin. I've never bought a white pumpkin before. They had a giant bin of white pumpkins, and one of them had the perfect stem that did this. And then I was suckered in. Oh my gosh, I'm out of control. Anyway, let's talk about spinning. I think those are all the shenanigans. Oh my gosh. I am so self-loathing. It's out of control. Not really. Just about certain things. Okay, so let's talk about spinning. I actually have finished spinning. And I'm not kidding you, a bit of it. What? Okay, so actually I did buy this fiber at the Wool Gathering, but it is not what it was supposed to be. It was supposed to be a Teeswater. Well, I shouldn't say it's not, but I'm like 98% sure it's not what it said it was. It's supposed to be a Teeswater fleece, fiber, excuse me. It's supposed to be Teeswater roving. So it's beautiful natural brown. And I was like, oh, I don't know anything about Teeswater. I should totally get that. Dude, it is not. They're like a long wool sheep. They're these guys. And the staple length is supposed to be something crazy, like 8 to 12 inches or something. Well, you can see they are like the sheepdogs of the sheep world. So this staple length was like maybe 4 inches, like probably 3.5. It's very like CVM-ish in terms of like its texture. That said, I really do like this fiber. I'm not upset. It was only $12. The other thing though, its label is 4 ounces. And it was like 3.4 ounces. I'm just saying, that's a noticeable difference. Again, it was only $12. I'm not I'm not mad at her, but I'm just saying, like, I'm not going to start carrying my gram scale to fiber events. But it's really, I really do like it. It's very squishy, and it has a little bit of lanolin in it, which I'm always excited about. And so yeah, I just spun it just as a 2-ply, regular 2-ply. It's not perfect. It's spun from roving, which I always like to spin from because I'm sort of a woolen spinner. I do kind of like a supported long draw pretty much. But so it's just like a nice, super airy. I got, what, 216 yards out of 3.4 ounces. And it's really lovely, but it's definitely not Teeswater. So there's that. So I finished that, and then I also I don't know why I bother redoing that when we're talking. I never get them snug enough. But then I also finished this bat from Knit Spin Farm that I purchased at the Fiber event in Greencastle, Indiana this year. And I apologize, I don't know what colorway it is, because even though I thought I saved the tag, I'm looking at you, Gus. I'm just going to blame Gus for that now. Genius. Gus steals all of my tags. It's not my own scatterbrain. Totally my scatterbrain. But so this is a bat from Knit Spin Farm, so there's lots of stuff in it, including some very sparkly Angelina stuff. It's like mega blue sparkly. It's gorgeous. So of course, and so it's 3 ounces and I got about 178 yards. It's like a sport DK-ish. That's my general spinning. It is not consistent because hi. But that said, it's quite pretty and lofty and fun. There's definitely some silk in it. Yay! And very good amount of sparkle. So I don't know. Oh, I didn't mention this. I should have mentioned this at the beginning. If you are a person who has hand spun yarn and you're never sure what to knit with it, I did just do a bonus episode on that. So if you don't get the bonus episodes because you're doing like iTunes or what have you, there is a bonus episode on the YouTube channel all about what I've made with my hand spun. So just ideas for projects for hand spun. But anyway, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure what this guy will be. But it's just fun to spin Joanna's bats, and quite frankly, I'm happy if it just stays like this and is attractive forever. But it'll probably become something. And then I also finished, did you think just this is the third thing I'm telling you about? I also finished 8 ounces. What? 8 ounces of Falkland from Three Waters Farm in the Falling Again colorway. Now I think, if I'm not mistaken, this colorway is still available. This was like a, she does like a pre-order, I think every month, a pre-order color. And I think it says to wait up to 4 weeks for delivery, but mine came much quicker than that. I think it came in like a week. But so that's that. What? Isn't that pretty? So it's 2 bumps, it's 8 ounces, and I got about 800 yards. So this is a fingering weight. Mostly fingering. Occasionally it's probably a sport. But overall a fingering weight. Isn't it lovely? So how I spun this is I spun 1 bobbin. So 1 ply I just spun exactly as the roving presented itself. Excuse me, as the top presented itself. And then the second bump, the second bobbin, I split the fiber into 3 pieces. So 3 strips. And then that way. So it'll be interesting to see how it knits up. It will definitely, I mean, there's pretty long colors stretches. The train is coming by. There's pretty long stretches, especially in that first bobbin, but I think it's really lovely. I'm excited about it. It's very autumnal, but I think the purple keeps it from looking just like super like tree camo. Because there is quite a bit of purple and gray in it. And I really like it, which of course is so good with orange and mossy green. Anyway, I'm kind of in love with it. Okay, I'm not kind of in love with it. I'm pretty much in love with it. We're going out. Okay, let's talk about knitting. I don't think I have any finished objects. I'll show you. I have an almost finished object. I have like 8 rows on the thumb left. So I finished some of my mittens. This is the pattern, the world's simplest mitten, and it is a pattern by Tin Can Knits. It's a free pattern on the internets. I am knitting this with DK by Teeny Buttons, which was the SSK colorway this year. Excuse me, Teeny Button Studios. This is her Squish DK base, which is 100% superwash merino, 250 yards. And this is the Judgey Rabbit colorway. So I have, thank goodness, I have 3 mittens finished. I think I had one and an almost second one finished free last time. But so I have 3 mittens, and then I'm almost done with the thumb on the last one. So these will probably be the last of the mittens I send out. What did I get? 4 pairs? And maybe, and then I'm hoping to send some with Claire Parks' address as well later in the year. Yes, I did bring that out. Did I work on this at all though? If I did, it wasn't much. I'm also doing just Purl SoHo's Teetswater classic cuff tat. So I'm doing that with a double strand of Madelinetosh in this super hot pink colorway, and this is her single ply. So it's showing a little red. It'll be interesting to see how editing goes with it, but it's very hot pink. So the red's not too far off, but it is definitely more pink than tomato. And I can't remember how much of that. I know it started it though. I haven't worked on it very much. I have just not been knitting very much. I did spend quite a bit with my time, but also I've been really tired in the evenings, and I've just found myself literally not doing anything and watching television, which is very unusual for me. Usually that makes me feel wicked antsy. But I've just been pooped. No good reason. Anyway, well, there's a good reason. So I've just been feeling really worn down. But I still got some stuff done. So that's my knitting. Still showing you things. I'm not done yet. So I also showed you last time that I'm working on my Trelawney shawl, which is a pattern by Tyne, Swedish, who is local to me. So it's very exciting. So I've gotten a little bit more done on that. Isn't that lovely? It's always awkward to show you when it's on a needle, but whatever. Right? I mean, it's super simple, right? It's just garter with stockinette. It's a traditional triangle, but sometimes you just need somebody to tell you where to put the stripes so that you don't have to think about it. And you know it's going to turn out beautifully. So my garter stitch is in Madelinetosh sock in the Wicked colorway. And then my beautiful stockinette is in another Crafty girl. It's her silky, shiny sock. It's the silk one. It's 50% silk and 50% wool. Yes, it's called Oh Shiny Sock. And this is the all-knowing colorway. Kapow! And of course, another Crafty girl is doing super awesome. You can sign up for the monthly. She's doing kid-inspired colorways, like toys of our childhood inspired colorways. Let's see if I can cause an avalanche. So this is, it's a Kid at Heart Yarn Club. So bad at remembering things. But she's doing, so you can just sign up for a random month, like if you need a nice little surprise. But this is the light bright one. And how fun is that? You can pick your base. Like I picked Sport. And you get a fun mini. I think there's a mini every time. Isn't that great? So she's done like strawberry shortcake. All sorts of good stuff. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Lincoln Logs. All sorts of fun ones. Okay. So there's that. There's that. So I have to close everything up because as I feel like this is right there. He's sleeping. But don't let that fool you. He's a little ninja dude. The other night I was knitting on those mittens and I dropped the... Oh, I'm sorry. I'm also... Those mittens are not just the DK. They are also held double. I'm holding the DK alongside a mohair silk. This one is specifically from Northampton Wools. That's not right. That's the other shop in Northampton. It's from Webb's. What's their yarn called? It's not going to be in here. Anyway, it's Webb's yarn of line of yarns. And this is this... Excuse me. This is the Southampton one. It's like an 85%... I should stop talking to you. Here it is. Gosh. It's called Valley Yarns. Goodness gracious. It's called Valley Yarns. It's 72% kid mohair and 28% mulberry silk. My goodness. Northampton Wools is the other yarn shop in Northampton. Because of course it has two yarn shops. It's not the reason I went to college in Northampton. But it was pretty awesome. We didn't go to Webb's very often because it's a bit of a walk from school. Although I did go there once in an actual snowstorm, and on the way home there was a snowstorm with lightning. It was pretty intense. We had a forecast in which we might get a snow day. It was one of those. Or maybe it was just a weekend. That's probably what it was. Probably a weekend where we were going to get like snowed in. We weren't really snowed in. But we, of course, decided that we needed to go get yarn. Because, if you didn't catch on, it was a wild partier in college. So we walked to Webb's in a, like, near blizzard. It wasn't like a whiteout, but there were moments when the wind was so much that you couldn't see. I was wearing an ankle-length corduroy skirt. I'm not lying. I would totally take that skirt back right now. Because it hides my centaurness. No, I'm not a centaur. But if I was, you would never know if I was wearing that skirt. Actually, you would totally know. Because I would have to be walking upright. I would be very tall. What's the pan thing? My half goateeness. Anyway, oh my gosh, why do I just talk so much? I can't help it. The camera goes on. Anyway, so we're walking, and I'm wearing a corduroy skirt. I'm not wearing tights or anything. I'm wearing like Doc Martens. I'm just laughing at myself. Anyway, we were walking down this hill that you had to walk down. It was fairly steep hill that you had to walk down to get into town or to go to Webb's. And my feet slid out from under me because they never iced the sidewalks there. They would put down grit, but there was no... So there was always a layer of ice that you were walking on that was compacted. And like it mostly had grit, but always there was a place that was dangerous. For like the first week of every snow year, you would just be so exhausted because you were walking around so tense trying not to fall. But anyway, I was walking down the hill and my feet just went out from underneath of me. And like my skirt kind of like, it was A-line, so it went up enough. It didn't like go over my head. But it went up enough that like my naked, well, I had underpants on, but like my whole naked underside was on the snow. My friend turned around and she was like, I was looking at you when you fell and it just looked like you decided to sit down. I was like, no, that's not what I decided to do. I was fine. We kept going. Okay, last thing to show you. Oh my gosh. I am working on my Yoke Emma, which is by Astrid Tueting. And it is a fingering weight sweater with 3 contrast colors. And I picked it up again. It's been hibernating for quite some time. And I finished the body. And I have started a sleeve. I had this moment where, I mean, it wasn't a moment. I had quite a bit of time where I was trying to decide whether I was going to do it cropped or do it full length. When I originally cast on, I was going to do it just as a short sleeve regular sweater, but now I'm loving these stupid crop sweaters so much. So I was like, maybe I'll just make a cropped sweater with long sleeves. So I'm not sure what my yarn situation is. I might have to like replicate the yoke on the sleeve because I might run out of yarn. But here it is. Also, I did knit it just maybe an inch or two too long. So if I need to, I could rip back the body and use that for sleeves. And I was so afraid that I was going to like try it on and be like, I'm a giant Easter egg. Did not give me that feel at all when I tried it on. So hooray! The yarn I am using is Juniper Moon Farms Patagonia Organic Merino. Humanely grown in Argentina. And it's 100% wool. It's listed as a DK, but I think it's a sport. And you'll notice that the sweater is fingering weight, so you know, whatever. However you roll is fine. So it's 100 grams. It's 382 yards. And it just doesn't feel like a DK to me. And it doesn't have like a huge halo. I feel like it's a heavy fingering actually, not even a sport. But whatever. So I am going to definitely run out of the green. Well, or at least come close to it. But I have tons of the pink and the blue and the yellow. And so if I need to, I can totally add some of this onto the cuff of the sleeve because I think it looks super cute in the crop sweaters. So that's an option. But I'm really jazzed about it. So yay. I need to make it a point to work on that because I totally want to knit another sweater. I have decided that my next sweater, I thought I meant to bring the pattern in here for you, but apparently I didn't. I have even swatched. I was kind of doing this whole like, I was not sure what I was going to knit next. Usually I know what sweater I'm going to cast on next. And quite frankly, I have already cast on by like get to this point in another sweater. But I decided that I am going to do the Yorkville sweater, which is a new pattern by Knitting Expat, who is Mina Phillip, who else has a podcast. She doesn't also have a podcast. She has a podcast. And so it is slightly cropped, long sleeve, and it's just a nice overall texture. And I am really excited about it. I am going to knit, I think it's written for DK. Yes. So I actually swatched, I think I'm pretty sure I'm going to use, I'm 100% sure. I'm going to use some Peace Fleece that I have that's like, it's listed as a DK. It's a lighter DK, but it works out perfectly in the gauge. I like the fabric, and then the fabric actually happened to match the gauge that was written for the pattern. But I'm going to use that red, that like really, it's like a, it's not a real orange red, but it's not a blue red either. It's definitely a warmer red. It's Sheplova mushroom, is that right? I think that's what it is. So I'm excited about that. And I think it'll actually have a similar look because it's a little bit tweedy. And the yarn that she used is Green Mountain Spinnery's Muesic base. No, I'm saying that incorrectly. But it definitely has like that slightly tweedy look to it. I think it'll be perfect. I think the Peace Fleece DK will be a great match. So it's going to look like I'm just copying, but I mean, who could resist copying Mina? So yes. Oh, and I love, this is what got me. Was this like garter stitch band on the sleeve? I don't know why that just, she sucked me in. I was like, okay, I'm signing up. I'm 100% there. Oh, come on, focus. Okay, see that garter stitch band? I don't know why, but that just got me. I was like, okay, I'm in. I'm in. So I'm excited about that one. And of course I like the silhouette as well. Okay, so now I'm going to just talk about stuff I bought. So if you're not interested in stuff, I'll see you next time. So again, wool gathering, Yellow Springs, Ohio. Let's just get into it. Okay. Okay. So, of course, I did buy candles at, that's not even at Yellow Springs, but they're in here. From Warm Glow Candle Company. This is the Ma and Pa Kettle Corn scent / colorway. Their thing is lumpy, bumpy candles. What is this? Oh, that's dye. I did buy dye for something. I'm not going to show you because it's pretty boring. Okay, this is a thing. Okay, I'm trying to find all the things. Okay, so I totally bought soap from Martha at Tuft Woolens because I've been with her and I'm always just so fried at the end of it. A mess, y'all. And I just cannot focus enough to shop. So I went in hard and bought the soaps. So usually I buy the wool wash, but I still have a couple bars. So I was like, I'm going to buy my actual body soap from her this year. Usually we buy them from a local person, but, well, I don't know them personally. And I personally know Martha, so I'm just saying. So I bought, what did I buy? I bought Chai Spice. This is my favorite, is Eucalyptus Lemon. I love Eucalyptus Lemon. Plum and Amber. Oh, so nice. And Mossy Woods. Because I do love some Mossy Woods. Oh my god. And of course, I love Martha's wool soap very much. What is this? I don't know what that is. Okay, so then I also purchased, oh my goodness, I will show you this display. Do I have my phones? There was a vendor there selling natural dyed yarns, and they were gorgeous and just so lovely. I don't have a lot of room in my life right now for single skeins, and I'm trying to be reasonable. I'm like I just alternate between reasonable and unreasonable. That's just how I do things. But she had the most amazing display. She had this like old, well, here, I should show it to you this way, it's better. She had this old barnwood display. Look at that. Where she had the yarn and then the botanicals underneath of it. It was gorgeous. It was an amazingly beautiful display. And I would definitely want it in my life. So I bought for you, as a prize, she had these awesome natural dye sample kits where you just get like a little bump, a little mini skein of yarn, and then the botanicals to dye it with, and an instruction sheet. Right, so her business name is Colorscape Studio. I don't think that she has an Etsy shop. I looked, I could not find it. But, so this one is hollyhocks, and I now definitely need to grow hollyhocks next year. I love hollyhocks. And there were some at this house originally, but they died off as our tree got bigger, so now I need to like get myself in order and plant some stinking hollyhocks. Because look at this beautiful green. Isn't that gorgeous? And I won't lie to you, I picked this one for you because the flowers were so pretty. So she's Colorscape Studio by Laura Crew. Hand spun art yarn, naturally dyed fiber, hand woven items. Oh, she does have an Etsy. The worst. Her Etsy shop is Colorscape Studio. That's right. I was looking for an Instagram account. Her Etsy shop is Colorscape Studio. Yes, right there. Right there. She had gorgeous stuff. So I'm going to give you that as a prize. I wanted to buy all of the things. So then I purchased this fiber, which was a new to me dyer. Her business name was previously Bitter Buffalo Fiberworks, but I believe she is now Moon Kitten Studios. What? This is Superwash Tarhi. Am I super excited about it? Yes. Was it almost the next thing I spun? Yes. Did I forget that it was going to be the next thing I spun, so I started something else? That's actually what happened. I was also kind of debating about how I should spin it. Oh, isn't it gorgeous? Right? What is going on with that? She had another, she had two other colorways. But she had another one on Superwash Merino that I was very drawn to. And it was definitely not my normal colors, but it was very tempting. And I will not lie, I am sometimes hesitant to try a new dyer out because it's hard to dye fiber, y'all. It's not easy. And sometimes when you have a dyer that you're not familiar with, sometimes you can get burnt when you buy fiber from them. And it stinks because you're all excited about a new person and their new color, and then you start to spin it and you're just like, oh, this is totally felted. And sometimes you can't tell, especially obviously if you're buying online. But if you're buying in person, you can sort of tell if you're experienced, but you know, sometimes it's hard when stuff's in a braid. You don't want to be conspicuous. You don't want to mess up somebody's display. So it's always much more assuring to me. Not much more assuring. That's not even the right. But I feel more comfortable buying a superwash fiber, even though that's not always what I'm interested. That's not what if I feel comfortable with the dyer, then I would not choose superwash usually. But it makes me feel safer trying out a new dyer if I try out superwash. That's a lot for me to just say that, which is what I should have said in the first place. But I just need to hold it up some more. No! Bring it here. Give it to me. Thank you. Thank you. But you've already done a terrible thing. How did you even get this? It was in a bag. See, this is what I mean. This bag is literally between my legs, in front of me. And now I'm going to have to do a repair. Because I bought this insane knitted art from Lakuma Designs. It's a knitted turkey, y'all. But now Gus has eaten its face, so I have to make it a new face. That's what I'm talking about. It's not a big deal. I can make it a new beak. But like literally, it's right here. How did he get it without me even seeing him? No other dog. Okay, we've only had 2 other dogs. But they would do something ornery, and like, they might do it again, and they might even do it again, but never like all the time. Is this a boy dog thing? Is this a, what is your other thing? Pekingese thing? Yeah. But anyway, it's really cute. Oh my gosh. It's okay. I've got some red yarn. I've got orange yarn. I'll make it a beak. So then let me show you this before it's destroyed. So then, this is a new to me artist as well. What? This is Moon Forest Studio, Sarah Miller. Oh my gosh, I said this on Instagram, but I'll say it again here. Not often am I like, I want everything in your booth. I wanted everything in her booth. How cool is that? So she had needle felted 2-dimensional things, but she also had 3-dimensional things. And let me just discuss, they were all gorgeous. Oh my gosh. She had in old pieces of silver, this one in a gravy boat got me. And I asked her if I could show pictures. Well, I asked her if I could post them on Instagram, but this is equivalent, I think, of her work, as long as I credited her, and she said she was fine with that. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you sure you're ready? Yes. Those are toadstools in an old silver gravy boat with a snail. Those are 2 pieces, by the way. The one in the foreground is the one with the scale. The snail, not the scale. What is that about? She had little tiny, I don't even know what the pieces of silver were. Maybe they were like egg cups or something. I'm not fancy enough to know the different pieces of silver one might have. But she had these little tiny ones with like these little, like those little bristle brush trees in them. And like little deer and like little winterscapes. Those were very cute. But the needle felting is what got me the most. Like, what is happening with how awesome this is? She gave me this postcard, my purchase. Like, all of her stuff is this amazing. What? Okay, I wanted all of these things very badly. Right? Yeah. How amazing is that? So there was a little bird dude. It was very hard for me to choose between the little bird dude and the eye, but I felt like the eye really was intense. There's lots of seed beads going on. It's awesome. So anyway, that's what I bought. So crazy. I can't believe it. Gus ate my turkey's nose. I mean, I completely can believe it. So fast. He's super quiet. Ugh. Anyway, that's enough of me. Anyway, I'll talk to you next time. Bye.